Jenny Reid from iFacts. We've been discussing the insourcing and outsourcing of staff at the various universities and the risks that it brings with it. Obviously, the costs are of a big concern. We find that a lot of people are just going ahead without thinking through policies and procedures and the risks associated to the implementation.
We are at the CAMPROSA conference at Fairmont. We're looking at the whole concept of insourcing and outsourcing. And as CIRA, the regulating authority, we came in just to share with them what the implications of insourcing are, what the implications of outsourcing are. We're not prescribing a model, but we are saying, yes, it is okay to insource. It might not be a good idea just to insource 100%. You've got to look at the realities, the cost implication, the capacity to be able to provide those kinds of highly specialized services.
I think also what came out of the conference with the question time is that you begin to see the kind of apprehension that is there, especially when it comes to enforcement and compliance issues. What is also clear is that we need to be working together with the industry to ensure that we bring them up in terms of issues of compliance. We're able to assist them to put together, compliance programs and so on, so that they are at, par with the rest of the industry. And also to ensure that, where insourcing is not possible, where can we advise in terms of how they should be rolling out, whatever programs that they need. The worrying aspect that came out is the issue of public order policing. I mean, where security companies are becoming, managing crowds during unrest and so on, or student protests. Security companies' role must be limited to what the law permits them to do. It is looking good going forward.
My talk this afternoon was about what I see as the two main threats for South Africa at the moment, in addition to the political and economic instability, which in a way also poses a threat. The good news, and we have to look far and deep to find some good news, is that within the police service, with the new acting national commissioner, although he's only acting, he has already started with very, very constructive changes within the police service and strategies by the police service. If he is allowed to continue with the good work, that will hopefully change the way in which the police are dealing with the crime issues. But that in itself will not be enough. I think we need to create political stability and economic stability in order for this country to overcome both the crime problems and the public violence problems that we are experiencing.
My name's Peter Brinkley. I'm the Head of Security at the University of Surrey in the UK. Our contribution to this year's conference was to give a presentation on emergency management, emergency response to incidents which take place in universities. And what it does, it enables people to think through the eventualities, think through their planning, and talk through the roles and responsibilities when those events take place. It's a really good opportunity to look at the experience in the room and to bring together people's solutions to some of those critical incidents taking place.
Hi, my name's Bernadette Duncan. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the Association of University Chief Security Officers from the UK. I was also the Head of Security at City University in London for 24 years. I was invited to CAMPROSA, my third one now, to follow up last year's presentation on emergency management. And today we've done a workshop on various emergency scenarios for campuses throughout Southern Africa. And hopefully the delegates have enjoyed doing that, and they've come up with some new ideas which they can take back to their own campuses and put into place soon.
I think the panel discussion was extremely valuable. And I think security and campus security has become more and more important to be integrated with all the other operational functions of the university. And I think the Fees Must Fall campaign has actually identified the need that we have to have a holistic approach, that we have to develop our protocols properly, and that we have to have proper management information with a view to managing the university. And in that process, campus security plays a critical role.
I think this was a fantastic session. I think it was important that vice chancellors, or at least the representatives of executive management, were able to engage CAMPROSA and effectively practitioners in campus security and protection security to actually look at the tactics and strategies that are required going forward in the coming year. South Africa is likely to be confronted with another round of protests, and it's important that security practitioners on campuses learn the lessons of the last 12 months and learn how best to manage these protests. Remember, we have to do so in a way that doesn't subvert what the universities are meant to be about. We must ensure that they are free, safe spaces, but they're also spaces where robust debate can actually take place. The conversation that this panel opened up between executive management and security practitioners at universities is a conversation that must continue if we're going to work much more effectively in stabilizing our campuses.
One of the things that the panel didn't highlight it, I believe, on insourcing was that if you insource now 1,000 additional workers into your institution, and those workers could potentially become unionized, that your union environment on campuses will change drastically. And therefore, you need to have a better sensitivity to understanding how to manage the union. We need to look at safety and security as a strategic imperative for higher education going forward. What that model could look like is whether, I believe it should be a hybrid model, that your one cohort of campus protection services can't do everything, but I also don't believe that the police should come in for every little thing that happens on campus. The challenge that fees must fall put on the table for higher education is that era have changed completely. One have to look at different visions, different types of leadership that will take universities going forward, and CAMPROSA, I believe, needs to play a much more critical role in that discussion going forward. Not only engaging as a system, but also bringing some ideas from other sectors or other than higher education to the table.
It's an honor and a privilege to have been a part of the 2016 CAMPROSA conference. My name is Randy Burba, the Chief of Public Safety at Chapman University and the President of IACLEA. And every time we come down here, we learn something, we interact with our colleagues, we find out that the world is truly a small place. We share a lot of the same problems, a lot of the same issues, but more importantly, we work together collaboratively on solutions. We take ideas back. It's great networking, and just really having the fellowship with all the people that share the same struggles that we do every day to try to keep our campuses safe. It's an amazing experience, and I would encourage everyone to come down and be a part of it.
I've been at the CAMPROSA conference for 4 years in a row now as either a speaker or as the MC. This has been one of the most stimulating events that we've had. Our speaker panel that we've just had now was probably world-class in terms of the questions and answers and responses. Now, for those who haven't been to CAMPROSA before, I really believe that it's important for you to put it on the agenda, get the budget for it. I would suggest that every single person that's in the educational security industry should be at CAMPROSA, because there's so much to learn, so much to be shared, and so many people to meet. So from me to you, see you at CAMPROSA 2017.